Some days in life don't stand out, but life is about those days that will last. Memories that will be etched into your memory forever, just as vivid as the days these events occurred. Let me tell you about the day that sticks out most in my mind. Mid-afternoon on a beautiful and bright summer day, I remember the birds were chirping, the kids were running around the neighborhood, screaming and having a good time. I was getting ready to meet a friend for lunch when my father came crashing into my room. Startled, I saw my father's lips moving, however I couldn't hear him. In retrospect, I wonder if maybe I was merely in misbelief of what I was hearing. I asked him to repeat himself. This time the words came out loud and clear. "They have a liver for me." To this day, I can still hear his voice trembling from excitement and fear, the look of panic in his eyes, and the shaking of his hands as he attempted to call my mother to tell her the amazing news. Trembling myself, I realized that I was going to need to quickly pull myself together to get my dad in the car and make the hour-and-a-half drive to the hospital. I took a breath and told myself, this is what we've been planning for. You know what to do. I snapped out of the shocked state and took charge of the situation. The mission was to make it to University of Michigan Hospital as soon as possible. Mission accomplished. As we were sitting in the hospital waiting the arrival of the organ for transplanting into my father, I began to reflect on the past 2 years. The never-ending cycle of doctor's appointments, diagnostic tests, radiation therapy appointments, emergency room visits, and 911 calls. It was a miracle that my father had made it to this point, and the fact that he would be getting a liver transplant was almost unbelievable to me. I started getting excited about this situation. My father would be around to walk me down the aisle on my wedding day. He would be there to hold my first child when he or she was born. He'd be there to celebrate another birthday. I then began to feel guilty about being so excited. The organ donor's family was grieving the loss of a loved one, and here I am celebrating it. I took a moment to pray for the family of the donor and thank the donor for giving my dad the most amazing gift anyone could ever give: life. During the endless nights and days spent in the hospital's surgical intensive care unit, waiting rooms, and cafeteria, I began to wonder how I could possibly try to repay this debt. I didn't know anything about this person, what their name was, how old they were, where they lived. I didn't know who they had left behind to grieve for them. I knew that anything I could repay would be minimal, but I felt I needed to do something. Then it dawned on me, how had I not thought of this before? If I were to become an organ donor myself, maybe that would be paying it forward in some sort of way, a small token for such an amazing gift. However, I was satisfied, at least for the moment. I registered with the official donor registry and proudly displayed the donor sticker on my driver's license for all to see. I did research with Donate Life and found that approximately 124,000 Americans are in desperate need for an organ transplant. 22 people will die each day waiting for an organ transplant donation, and one donor can save up to 8 lives. These numbers blew me away. Until my father needed a transplant, I never really gave a second thought to becoming an organ donor. Never realized how many people are in need of this life-saving procedure. I'm sure that many people out there are in the same shoes I once was, oblivious to the severity of this problem. However, it has become my goal to shed light on the issue and promote organ donation around the country. If I can convince one person to become a donor, I figure my efforts will not have been in vain. For 8 families, that decision could be the life of a loved one, a father, a daughter, a cousin, an uncle, given a second chance at life. Visit organdonor.gov for more details on how to become a donor.
I feel the waves crashing on my feet. It's like I know where I need to be, but I can't figure out just how much air I will need to breathe when your tide rushes over me. There's only one way to figure out, but will you let me drown? Yeah, will you let me drown? And hey now, this is my desire, consume me like a fire, 'cause I just want something beautiful to touch me.